Good evening and welcome to our first episode of Golden Eagle Sports Report in 2023. London, the men's basketball team is ripping through the top national 25 standings.
You said it, Adrian. And the Marquette community is gearing up for the biggest day of the year. Get ready, Marquette Nation, because Golden Eagle Sports Report starts right now.
Slam dunk! Oh, that's a poster.
Live from the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio at Marquette University, this is Golden Eagle Sports Report.
Marquette gets the rebound, and the champions have gone down!
Hello everyone, I'm Adrian Fraga. Alongside London Davis, we start tonight with some big news coming out of the tennis and track and field programs.
The Marquette Athletics Department announces that starting in the 2025-26 seasons, both the tennis and track and field programs will be taken down to non-scholarship programs.
The Marquette Wire was the first to report this news.
Marquette Vice President and Director of Athletics, Bill Scholl, says Marquette Athletics will continue to honor those who are currently on athletic scholarships and both incoming first-year classes.
And although athletic aid will no longer be available, thankfully the students will still be able to receive both academic and financial aid. But it's about that time to get excited, Marquette, because tell your family, tell your friends, and make plans because National Marquette Day is right around the corner.
This year, the men's basketball team is getting ready to soar into action against the Butler Bulldogs for the second year in a row.
Last year, Marquette took the victory against Butler 64-56 with its first sellout crowd since February 2020. But still riding that 2003 ceremony high, the Golden Eagles continue on a 3-game winning streak against the DePaul Blue Demons.
Marquette comes out of the locker room soaring, leading by 8 points in the first half while shooting 69% from the field.
The Golden Eagles go up 33-32 at halftime. Junior forward David Joplin leads Marquette with 10 points in 14 minutes off the bench.
You know, Adrian, I think the Golden Eagles might have poured a little bit of holy water on the Blue Demons as they had their way down the stretch, outscoring DePaul 56-37.
But London, a large part of that comes from the team shooting an astonishing 48% from beyond the arch. Junior forward Olivier Maxence Prosper scores 11 of his 13 points in the second half, and junior forward Oso Iguodaro finishes his day shooting perfect from the field.
But an even bigger factor was Joplin, who earns a career-high 28 points, and junior guard Tyler Kolek puts up his first career double-double with 24 points, 10 assists, and an astonishing 9 boards.
Whew. Kolek was just one rebound away from becoming the first Marquette player to attribute a triple-double since the GOAT Dwayne Wade in the Elite Eight. Marquette pulls away with the win 89-69 without the help of first-year guard Sean Jones and sophomore guard Cam Jones. Both are questionable in tomorrow's game against Villanova. After a near-historic performance with his double-double, Tyler Kolek was named Big East Player of the Week. David Joplin was attributed Big East honor roll following his career-high 28 points in just 24 minutes. But the accolades for the men don't stop there, because after beating DePaul last week, Marquette moves up to number 14 in this week's Associated Press poll. The Golden Eagles remain the highest-ranked Big East team.
And after a big week for Marquette, we would like to welcome in men's basketball beat reporter Kaylin Wright. Kaylin, nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
The Golden Eagles are coming off a commanding win against DePaul. What did you see in that game that helped them further push the needle and get the win?
Yeah, I was just really impressed with the resilience they showed. You know, in the first half, DePaul kind of stuck with them, and Marquette went into the locker room only leading by 1, but then they came out with energy, resilience, scoring 56 points in that second half on 57.1% shooting, and that was all without Cam Jones. So that was really impressive on that end, and especially with the offense scoring 89 points overall. 4 players scoring in double figures, most notable being David Joplin with 28 and Kolek with 24. So those are the couple things that I was just really impressed with against DePaul.
Those EGBs are essential. It seemed like before the game, though, Shaka gave David Joplin the absolute green light. What stuck out to you about Joplin's career-high game?
Yeah, just that confidence. 28 points on 8 for 11 from shooting. That's just amazing performance from him against DePaul. And just his growth from last year, 28.8% shooting from 3 in his first year, now to this year so far, 41.5% from beyond the arc. That's impressive for a second-year player. And I think just Shaka having that faith in him, that speaks just volumes when a coach has that faith in a player.
I think Shaka needs to give him the green light a little bit more, in my opinion. But alongside him, Tyler Kolek had an astounding first career double-double game. What did you see that got the ball rolling for Tyler?
Again, it was just that confidence, and also he's really stepped up as a leader in his junior season. He had 24 points, 9 rebounds, a career best, and 10 assists. And I think that just speaks, he's a passer, he's a playmaker, but he's also an offensive threat. And I think that's going to help Marquette immensely throughout the season if he continues to perform like this.
3-level score at its finest. Cam and Sean are both listed questionable for tomorrow's game against Villanova. Who do you think is going to have to step it up in order for them to get the win over the Wildcats?
I know Stevie Mitchell is seen as sort of a defensive guy, but I would love to see him have another breakout game against Villanova. The first time he had 19 points, and now he's in front of the home crowd tomorrow, so I would love to see what he can do offensively.
Stevie, we calling for you. But thank you, Kaylin, for your insights. But we are out of time. Make sure coming up is the women's basketball team finally found their groove. We discuss after the break.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends. After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
And welcome back to Golden Eagle Sports Report. Once again, I'm Adrian Fraga.
And I'm London Davis. Adrian, although basketball season is in full effect, another season is getting ready to begin here on campus.
That's right, London. The Wisconsin Snow won't stop the men's lacrosse team from taping the field for their first season opener this Saturday.
Hosting the Linwood University Lions, the Golden Eagles are looking to fly back south and start the season off on a high note.
Marquette will return to Valley Fields after its 2022 campaign ended in heartbreak in the Big East semifinals.
The 3 Golden Eagles land themselves on the preseason All-Big East team.
Sophomore attacker Bobby O'Grady, senior defender Mason Woodward, and junior defender David Lamarca all received preseason honors, with Woodward being the only unanimous selection for Marquette. The coaches poll has Marquette finishing in 4th place of 6. But if this year has taught us anything, Marquette sports rarely listens to the coaches' preseason poll. So we'll see what Coach Stimmel and his squad can do this season. March is still a month away, but the women's basketball team is already serving up the madness. Riding a 2-game winning streak, the Golden Eagles hope to wreak havoc against the Butler Bulldogs inside of Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Senior forward Kennedy Miles starts off the game with a bang, cashing in a nice pass from senior forward Chloe Murata.
Senior guard Jordan King joins the fun with a crafty split of the defenders and gets the floater to go early in the first quarter.
But the magic does not last for long, as the Golden Eagles only shoot 29% in the first quarter and find themselves down 8 to the Bulldogs. Smooth shooting from both senior guard Nia Clark and first-year forward Sharia Smith helps close the gap at the end of the first half.
Murata finally breaks free from the nest and sparks life into the Golden Eagles, scoring 12 third-quarter points.
But the Bulldogs are not ready to go back in the doghouse just yet, and they trade baskets with the Golden Eagles down the stretch.
With 30 seconds left in regulation, junior guard Caroline Strand tries to play hero for the Bulldogs and sinks a three-pointer to tie the game at 63.
But first-year guard Emily LaChapelle delivers the golden gift for Marquette by tipping in the game-winning putback to send the Bulldogs home 65-63. Murata's heroic 25-point second half spearheads the victory for Marquette to give the Golden Eagles their 3rd straight win. And with her 14-rebound outing, Murata climbs up the Marquette history ladder to 9th all-time in rebounds, passing her old friend Lauren Van Clunen with 809 boards.
Marquette is now 7-5 in Big East play and will travel to Philadelphia for the rematch with the 22nd-ranked Villanova Wildcats. Fox Sports is celebrating Women and Girls in Sports Day by airing the game on FS2 with a female forward crew.
And following her incredible week in which she put up a career-best 23 points, first-year guard Mackenzie Hare earns Big East Freshman of the Week honors. Hare joins her fellow teammate Emily LaChapelle as the only Marquette first year to receive the honor this season. Chloe Murata also earns a spot on the Big East Weekly Honor Roll after posting back-to-back double-doubles in which she put up 16 points and 15 rebounds per game.
And with that, we'd like to welcome in Executive Sports Editor John Leuzzi to the show. John, always good to have you.
It's great to be back, Adrian.
Now, John, the Golden Eagles are finally back above 500 in conference play. What has been going right for Marquette?
I think for Marquette, it's just that they're finding themselves on the offensive end. You kind of talk about that stretch of Big East games that they started out. If I recall correctly, it was UConn, Villanova, Creighton, Seton Hall was all in that 5-game start to Big East play. And those are some pretty good teams in the conference. And they just weren't able to get a couple wins in those. So for Marquette, they're able to get these wins against some of the not better teams in the conference, and that kind of has boosted their morale and their confidence offensively. But it's also in the last couple games, you're kind of seeing the offense develop without Liza Carlin. She's been out since that DePaul game back in the start of January with that mouth injury. So we're seeing Jordan King really play like that senior and that old Big East preseason freshman of the year that all the way back 4 years ago, finally coming through, and she's been really, really good for the Golden Eagles.
I could not agree more. It's no secret that losing junior forward Liza Carlin, as you said, has been difficult for the Golden Eagles. But who do you think is stepping up in her absence?
It's a tough role to fill because Liza is such a big part of Marquette's rebounding margin. And if you kind of look at the stats, when Marquette out-rebounds its opponents, they win 99.9% out of the time. So without her underneath and inside the presence inside the paint, it's hurt Marquette. But it's allowed the opportunity for Emily LaChapelle to have some time playing. Mackenzie Hare has played a little bit, and Kennedy Miles has got some minutes as well. So those three have really taken over the minutes for Carlin, but Carlin's absence is so big for Marquette. And when they announced her injury, it was indefinite. So we don't know when she's going to be coming back. Hopefully they get her back for this last stretch before Big East Conference tournament in about a month from now in Connecticut.
But luckily, Marquette has great depth. And Mackenzie Hare is finally letting it fly from the floor.
Oh, yeah.
So how big is her confidence in scoring during this winning streak?
I mean, it's huge for Marquette. You kind of talk about Marquette bringing in 2 first years. You got Emily LaChapelle and Mackenzie Hare, the 2 headline of this the first year class for Megan Duffy's team this year. And she had a very slow start to her college career, as many first years do. You got to adjust to the level of college. But for Hare, she has that smooth stroke from beyond the arc. You mentioned that she got Big East Freshman of the Week, 10.5 points per game, shot over 50% from the three-point line. And the three-point play is really where her biggest impact on this Marquette team, for my opinion, has. And it kind of gives me flashbacks to when I was on the beat my first year, when Izzy Spingola was that big three-point threat shooter for Marquette. So if Marquette can get her going a little bit, Adrian, watch out for the Golden Eagles come March.
Time flies, eh, John?
Yeah.
Chloe Murata is back in Big East honor roll after a huge week. Is she emerging as a Big East Player of the Year candidate?
You know, I have to say I'm a big Chloe fan. I mean, we see her, how big of a part she is a part of this Marquette team throughout her entire career, but I'm going to say no. I mean, obviously she's having a great season, career highs for the Golden Eagles, but if you have to talk about the Big East Player of the Year, there's only one player, and in my opinion, they're going to be going against her tomorrow night at Finneran Pavilion. That's Maddie Siegrist at Villanova. Siegrist is so good, Adrian. She's playing video games almost when she goes on the floor. She has a lot of 40-plus point performances. She just became Villanova's all-time leading scorer. She also leads the entire country in shooting. In the entire country. So the Big East is not a power conference, but for having one of their players as the leading scorer in the country with 28.4 points per game, that's pretty impressive when you have to worry about the SEC, ACC, and Big Ten.
Truly video game numbers.
Yeah.
Wow. Marquette is entering a gauntlet week, starting with a matchup against the number 19 ranked Villanova Wildcats. How can Marquette avenge its early season loss?
I mean, it's not really so much avenge, in my opinion, it's more finishing. And you have to talk about the last 4 games that Marquette and Villanova have played with Megan Duffy versus Denise Dillon, the head coach for the Wildcats. They've been very close games, and they've come down to how the teams play in the fourth quarter. Marquette was putting together a strong 40 minutes, and you have to do it with an entire team. It just can't be 1 or 2 players like King or Murata leading the charge. And you really have to worry about Siegrist. You limited her to 21 points. In the game here in Milwaukee, you have to replicate that, in my opinion, if you want to get a win, because right now, the Golden Eagles, they're right on the bubble in the NCAA tournament pool.
I could not have said it better myself. And thank you so much for your answers, John. But this is all the time we have. But don't worry, because coming up in pro sports, have the Las Vegas Aces become the new WNBA super team? Plus, are professional referees slowly ruining the world of sports? We dive in after the break.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Roll over. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Every day.
Millions of people are connecting. Father.
Cosplayer.
Mentor.
actor. It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
And welcome back to Studio 7 as we discuss reactions to Championship Sunday, Candace Parker and the Aces, and more. Joining me on the panel tonight is Adrian Fraga and Tommy Gilchrist. Let's get to the good stuff. Last Sunday, the Eagles dominated the Niners and the Chiefs survived against the Bengals. Was this the best possible matchup we could have gotten? Adrian?
There's no way you can say that the Chiefs and Eagles Super Bowl matchup isn't the matchup of the year, the matchup that's been hyped up going into the season, mid-season. These two teams were the best teams coming out of each conference, and for that reason, how could this not be the best Super Bowl? Like, come on, guys.
Tommy?
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I think the best matchup that we could have gotten would have been the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm going to say that because I don't think the Eagles have even proven themselves as a true contender with the teams that they had to play this season.
I mean, the Niners had injuries, but we all knew, like, come on, it's Patty Mahomes. It's them. But a question I want to ask you guys: what was the biggest headline?
You want to phrase that a little bit?
Like, what was the biggest story coming into these games? What do you guys think?
Well, the biggest story would have been Mr. Irrelevant turned irrelevant, Brock Purdy becoming the quarterback of the Niners and playing really well in that system. I think it was getting a little overblown. Like, people were calling him the next Tom Brady. Let's calm down. But you can't deny the guy was playing great football.
I mean, I have to agree. It was Brock Purdy. He was the headline, and I feel really bad that he got just injured in the first series of that game. And I genuinely do think if he stays healthy throughout that game, it would have been a much different story, and I think the 49ers would have taken that win. But
you could say it was a different story, but the Niners had a lot of injuries, not just on the offensive side, obviously with Brock Purdy and Josh Johnson, the two quarterbacks, obviously the most important position. But Fred Warner went down early. Nick Bosa went down twice. They were dealing with injuries all year, not even before this game. So to say that the Niners would have won with Brock Purdy is certainly a statement.
So you guys believe that next year he's going to take them all the way?
Brock Purdy?
Yes.
Trey Lance's team.
Well, this offseason there has been a handful of head coaches and coordinators fired. Some teams have already made some big hires. But which, in you guys' opinion, is the best hire so far? Tommy?
I'm going to go with Kellen Moore to the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, it's such an upgrade. Even though the splashiest move might be Sean Payton to the Broncos, Kellen Moore is such an upgrade on the offensive coordinator's stance. He had the second-ranked total offense in his 4 years with the Dallas Cowboys, second in yards per game, and top 5 in third down percentage. I mean, he's going to be able to get the Chargers a run game, and Justin Herbert's going to have a well-balanced offense. It's just watch out for the Chargers next year.
It's going to be a little difficult to get the Chargers a run game when they have one of the most overrated running backs in the sport in Austin Eckler. But you want to talk about a fantastic hire? I'll give you one. Ryan DeMeco. Ryan DeMeco was the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, as we previously mentioned. They were the best defense in football last year. And with a hire like this, I think it's a complete culture change down there in Houston. And they have the number 2 overall pick in the draft. Things are looking very bright for the Texans.
You know, the Broncos, they traded for Sean Payton. Would you guys have traded for a head coach like that?
Without a doubt. The Buccaneers did it way back when for John Gruden, and they won a Super Bowl. Any trade you make, as long as you win a Super Bowl, you cannot have regret looking for that trade. The Broncos were a team last year when they made the move for Russell Wilson. They had Super Bowl ambition. They have the talent. I truly believe it. And if they can get going, Sean Payton's a proven head coach. I think sky's the limit.
I mean, yeah, I think it made the most sense for the Broncos to make that kind of move. Russell Wilson, it's going to do wonders for him to have a quarterback guru like Sean Payton. And because Nathaniel Hackett, I mean, he just didn't know what he was doing down there in Denver.
Well, in several sports, there has been a common nuisance present in every game: the refs. And after a weekend of questionable calls, it begs the question, which league has worse refs? Tommy?
I'm going to go with the NBA. I mean, especially, this might be a little recency bias, but as a Laker fan,
Ew.
I almost lost it when Jason Tatum karate chopped LeBron's arm and nothing was called. I mean, I didn't know what to do. It was so clear. And then, so they're so inconsistent, and they can't call these blatant calls, but then I'll sit down and watch a game, and there's almost a foul a minute within the first half. It's just so inconsistent. I can't with the NBA refs.
When a player has to bring you a camera and show you the call in your face, I think there's something that needs to be done at that point. Adrian?
Well, the NBA has gotten it really bad, especially as of recently. They've gotten a lot of heat. I don't think you can just ignore what the NFL has been going through all season. There's been a plethora of penalties, all scattered all throughout the NFL, that has just made heads turn. How about those roughing the passer penalties we saw all season? The ones where the D tackle, the edge rusher, doesn't matter. They would softly pat the quarterback. He tripped on a little piece of turf. That's a flag. Now, the league has gotten a little bit too soft for my liking. And it's football, guys. Come on, it's a tough sport. The quarterback's going to get hit. And while I get these penalties are to prevent injuries, there comes at a point where it's just too soft, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's soft all around the boards.
I mean, I think it's a fair take, but I just can't. I mean, Patrick Beverley, that was a very well-deserved technical foul.
Refs do better, but longtime NBA standout Candace Parker is on the move and is calling Las Vegas home, along with the rest of the defending champions. How will this acquisition affect the league? Sami?
I mean, they just added the best player on the second best team, and they're already the defending champs. I got them going back to back. I have a friend who's a Chicago Sky fan, and he is very upset about this move.
The situation is very simple. It's in Las Vegas. They're called the Aces. It's as if they got dealt pocket aces in a good old-fashioned game of Texas Hold'em because they just hit the jackpot. They got kind of the best hand in the game, and they're going to win with that best hand. Adding Candace Parker to that already stacked squad, including players of the standards that the Aces already have, they're just going to repeat. Let's be real. It's the next big WNBA dynasty.
Repeat, dare I say three-peat. I mean, listen, this is one of the best squads ever. This is like comparing the 2018 Warriors. Like, this is what this team is.
You can say the big three.
The big three, indeed. I mean, listen, Candace Parker is really just an amazing player, and adding her to this team, I just don't feel like it's fair.
She's a stud, and it's going to be really tough to take down that very well-rounded and well-coached Las Vegas team.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have. Thanks for the great discussion. We are out of time, but be sure to tune in next time for all of coverage of Marquette sports and more. For Adrian Fraga, I'm London Davis. Good night, Marquette.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.